Okay, the second Rugby League semi-final has just finished. Possibly the best match of the tournament so far. I think this surpasses Tonga Samoa in the quarterfinals. England have actually lost to Samoa in Golden Point, but I think on looking at it, I think Samoa, for their skill, their passion, their commitment. After the first game on opening day, you're thinking, okay, this could be a tough World Cup for Samoa if they're not mentally tuned in. They've got the skill, they've got the talent. They individually on paper, one on one, they're better than England in a lot of positions. And you're thinking this could be a mental tournament for Samoa, getting mentally tuned in. Physically, they've got it. Skill-wise, they've got it, and they had it today. England looked nervy from the off. Samoa had their moments of nerves as well. Both sides didn't look at their best at periods. There was a lot of sloppy play. They said on a technical standpoint, this is not the best game of rugby league, but on an entertainment standpoint, it bloody is. This is one of the best games I've seen in a very, very long time. Very, very long time. But when Tim Laffey scores after 5 minutes, I had that feeling this is going to be a long day for England. This isn't going to go the way the home fans want. It's not going to go the way that I want to see England Australia in the final. To be honest, I want to see revenge for 2017, so to speak. But when Tim Laffey scores on 5 minutes, you start thinking to yourself, this is not going to be England's day, and it wasn't. But there were periods where you're thinking, Samoa are blowing this now. They've got that early lead, but now they've rushing things. England were rushing things. But Tim Laffey scores first, and he dominated Callum Watkins today. He was the better in that centre battle. Hands down. Hands down. Farnsworth and Crichton, that was pretty even. That was a good battle today. So the Super League battle was won by Laffey. The NRL battle, I would say, even though Crichton gets the winning points, is a draw because Farnsworth has performed heroics in the second half to try and get England back into the game and get England the win. He really has. His first try, he takes up 5 players over the line with him. The junior Paolo sin bin on 12 minutes, England do not take advantage of that man advantage because Callum Watkins doesn't look after the ball in possession when he's going for the try and he drops it. He loses control. And that's, I think, sums up England's performance today. Is England's right edge sums up England's the team performance wasn't good enough, but England's right edge, Dom Young, Callum Watkins, their inside forwards just were not as good, and I'm including John Bateman in that. Even though Bateman gets a try, the Samoan left edge outdid England's right edge, and you can see the difference when you have a young winger against a slightly more experienced winger in Brian Toto. Brian Toto is slightly more experienced than Dom Young, only slightly. They both play in the NRL, and I would say neither of them get on the score sheet, but Brian Toto, I think, was better coming out of his ending carries, making more metres than Dom Young. But Callum Watkins was beaten by Tim Laffey. So the battle of the Super League centres, Tim Laffey wins, and Callum Watkins, that disallowed try, that drop ball, has proven very costly. But Elliot Whitehead gets his try in 24 minutes and Makinson converts. So England actually take the lead. We're up 6-4 at this point. And yes, the pendulum has swung back. But then Lingy Sao scores his try again down England's right defensively on 31 minutes. Crichton converts that. And it's 10-6 at half time. England are on the back foot. Samoa, I think, have slightly been the better side in the first half. They're more clinical in possession. They're looking after the ball better. Although their discipline is worse, in possession they're not forcing the pass. England are forcing the play too much. England are looking a little bit more tense and nervous. But when the John Bateman try comes right at the beginning of the second half, this is the one time Callum Watkins got the better of Tim Laffey, and it's from a kick. And Tim Laffey doesn't defuse the kick very well. And John Bateman, that is good edge back rower support play. He scores under the post. It's probably one of the easiest tries John Bateman will score. He has also played in the centres. Maybe they should have played Bateman in the centres today. That might have proven a better solution to dealing with Tim Laffey and Brian Ty. But Callum Watkins was fit. Crichton's first try comes on 49 minutes. And this is where you are now thinking it's going away from England a little bit, because they get back-to-back tries. So Crichton scores his try in 49 minutes, and it's just too easy, in my opinion. The handling skills for it are ridiculous from Junior Paolo. Like, just the blind, the offloading, Luai in the build-up. That is possibly one of the best team tries of handling skills you are going to see. Tim Laffey scores his second try in 57 minutes, and it's at this point that you're thinking England are just falling apart. They've mentally fallen apart. And maybe they had. But then there's a flare-up between Jerome Luai and Sam Tompkins. Now, I don't think Sam Tompkins was the right player to be captain. I think that should have been Elliot Whitehead. That's my personal opinion on that, or maybe Chris Hill. They seem to have much cooler heads in these feisty situations. Completely unnecessary coming, but it wakes England up. But it's not something you want to see from your captain necessarily. Is possibly giving away a penalty, which he did, which was silly. It was stupid. Yes, the ball's gone dead. It's a kick dead. It's a set, and don't respond. He's got a short fuse. He's responded to Luai. Luai is an irritant, and while he's a very skillful player, he's a player you have to love to hate because he's sometimes his attitude or his persona rubs people up the wrong way. He's an irritant. Sam Tompkins is a hothead. That nearly cost England there. However, it wakes them up. And then Herbie Farnsworth first try. He doesn't look as big as he is. He's quite a tall, rangy centre. He can also play on the wing as well. He's carried 5 players over the line to score that try. That is just determination. England had woken up at this point. They're now angry. They're now realising, okay, we are losing this. We need to fight back. Their line speed increases. Herbie Farnsworth's first try, for me, possibly, that is the biggest moment of passion for England in the match. That is the moment where England go, we're still in this, we're still fighting, we're not giving up, we're not quitting. Makinson converts. Then Samoa very shortly afterwards, on 68 minutes, this try scored on 64, 68 minutes, they give away a stupid penalty, taking out of Sam Tompkins, Junior Paolo. By the letter of the law, he has made contact after the kick is gone, and it is like, it's nothing. It's a soft penalty. I mean, I understand protecting the passer or the kicker when it's a late hit, but that is the softest of softest penalties, although by the letter of the law, it is a penalty. But I think sometimes you need refereeing with common sense. However, where the ball is caught is where the penalty is taken from. I would have gone for the 6. I know England went for the 2. That has also proven crucial. I understand why they've gone for the 2, but England are on the top at this point. Samoa are now all over the place. They've now had a bit of a mental meltdown. Their penalty count's going through the roof, and they take the 2. And I understand the logic behind that. The game is tied up. And it's at this point you're thinking, let's just get a couple of sets, stabilise. The intercept. Crichton does this a lot. This is not something that's just happened where it's a lucky intercept. Stephen Crichton has done this in grand finals. I think in back-to-back years he's intercepted and scored. He's done this in regular season, where he's right up on the edge of being offside, basically. Now, Victor Radley has obviously had a call from Elliot Whitehead to receive that pass. That is a communication of, give it to me now, quick. Now, if Victor Radley gets it out quicker, Crichton can't intercept that, and there's a hole in the defensive line. Crichton has timed his intercept perfectly. The fact that Chris Hill is trying to chase at fullback is again, that's a bit of a breakdown of positioning there. But Stephen Crichton always plays defensively quite high up. He comes up the line quick. He's got a line speed, and he always reads the intercept. And sometimes it doesn't come off. He pulls off a great intercept. Great interception there, personally, in my opinion. He runs half the length of the field. And Victor Radley, you're thinking he's going to get a lot of crap on social media for that. I feel sorry for Victor Radley tonight. And he's going to get a lot of crap from Australian fans, English fans, because obviously he's been around the New South Wales squad and he could have chosen Australia. He chose England. Obviously, his father is English. But that is a call by Elliot Whitehead. The receiving player will say, I'm free. Make whatever call you have, be it letter or code or on left shoulder, whatever code you have in training, he's called for that. So Radley's saying, okay, cool, I can give the pass. Now, Crichton's quick. And that's the moment you think, oh Christ, game's gone. And then Herbie Farnsworth and George Williams decide to do a bit of magic. George Williams, when he's running and he finds gaps, does this. And it's a shame he didn't stick it out in the NRL, and there's reasons for that, and there's been a lot of things put in the press, both here and in Australia, both positive and negative, about why he left the Canberra Raiders, but there were times at the Canberra Raiders where he would do things like this. And he's had a poor season with Warrington, but that break and that part, Herbie Farnsworth, great support player, but the break by George Williams creates that try, and Herbie Farnsworth, cometh the man, cometh the hour, kind of hero in defeat, and I do feel sorry for Herbie Farnsworth. He is giving everything today. That was on 78 minutes. Makinson, biggest kick of his career. We're going in full time, 26 points all. And then England fluff it in Golden Point. Knock-ons, penalties, silly. Yes, they charged down the first drop goal attempt from Milford. So Milford's sitting in the pocket for the second attempt. They give it to Crichton. Crichton has had a few field goals, I believe, in the NRL and in reserve grade. He's not known for it. He's not as recognisable as a field goal kicker as some of the others, like Milford, who's got more on the field. But obviously they've been practising that. Milford's deliberately got in the pocket. They're thinking Milford's going to get the ball again. He's already had one sighter, which has been charged down by, guess who? Elliot Whitehead. Goes to Crichton. And they just can't get the line speed. And he slots on 84 minutes the golden points. There we go. Samoa make their first ever Rugby League World Cup final. And most of these players could be playing for Australia. This is like an Australian side in itself, literally. Most of these players could play for Australia. They have been selected for Origin before. They've been around Origin camps. A lot of these players said, no, we're going to go with Samoa. So Australia are not going to be in for an easy time in the final. They're really not. A fair few of this side have played in the grand final this year for both Penrith and Parramatta. There are multiple grand finalists in this side. And yes, they've got a lot of injuries. They've 4 or 5 players have gone. Tabato Fidel in the opening game, has gone home. Josh Alloway has gone home. Danny Levi's had to leave for family. They've got players out. Okay, they've got players out. Considering where they were on the first day of the tournament, getting hammered by England, to where they are now, they could upset Australia. And Australia, much like England, have only had one tough game. Samoa had to go. We've had to have several tough games to get to this point because they played so badly in game one. That's quarter final against Tonga. That's semi final. They're more battle hardened, I believe, than Australia are. And Australia need to figure out their halfback combination and their lineup. But this Samoan side, a fair few of them could get in the New South Wales and Queensland sides, and a few of them have played for Australia before. A few of them have played State of Origin before. So this is going to be a right ding dong next weekend. But there we go, golden point finish, best match of the tournament so far. Real sets up the final now. Sets up the final fantastically, and it was the only game in London this World Cup, which is a shame. I'd like to see more games in London, but because of the Qatar World Cup and having to get football fixtures played, not enough stadium availability. The Emirates not fully at capacity, though, about 40,000. Still, the middle tier looked very empty in places, which is a little bit disappointing for the TV viewership, but the atmosphere was fantastic. It's one of the biggest semi-final attendances the Rugby League World Cup has ever seen, and of course the finals at Old Trafford next weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will have some more video content for you very, very soon.